Hi, I'm Robert Stiegel. I'm going to be your instructor for today. Thank you for coming and joining us here at the JCC and coming online with us live. I know this is a little bit of a difficult situation for all of us, but yoga helps. So yoga is going to be a good thing for us to do. So let's join in and do some yoga. So we're going to start off just by standing tall. So find a place where you have a bit of room to move. Arms could be out to the sides if you like, or hands could be in prayer position. Let's just take a little moment to breathe. So in yoga, we breathe in and out through the nose. So you're going to be breathing deeply and slowly and calmly. So let's breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. So we try for about a 3 to 4 second inhale and exhale. So that way we're not breathing too quickly, but we're trying to slow that breath down. Any chance you get to slow your breath down, please take advantage of it. So let's start by linking our breath with our arms first. So we're going to move here. On an inhale, allow your arms to reach out. Eyes may glance up towards the hands. As we exhale, just draw those hands down. Good. Let's do that again. So on the inhale, arms can reach out. Breathing in and exhale. Nice. We'll do another one like that again. On an inhale, arms are going to raise, chest might lift, eyes might lift. And as we exhale, just draw those hands down. Let's add a little bit more to this. Inhale, arms are going to reach. And as we exhale, take a forward fold, bending at the hip. Take it as far as you're comfortable with. On an inhale, just glance forward, look up a little bit, lengthen out the spine. Exhale, fold as deeply as you're comfortable with, looking through the legs. We'll come all the way back to standing. Inhale. If you need to, hands can come to thighs. And as we exhale, bring those hands back down. Good. We're doing that again. On an inhale, arms will reach, chest rises. Exhale, forward fold, swan dive down. Inhale, now re-lengthen that spine, look forward. Exhale, folding that a little bit deeper. Good, we'll take our inhale to lift. If you need assistance, hands to thighs. And then exhale, bring those hands down. Good, that's gonna lead into our sun salutation. I'm just gonna reposition myself. So sun salutation A. Inhale, arms reach, and feel free to modify as you need. As we exhale, forward fold, swan dive down. On the next inhale, just re-lengthen, look forward. And as we exhale, hands come to the floor, step back into your plank, knees can come down if you need it, and lower down. Inhale to a back bend. Could be small, maybe just baby cobra, or right into up dog. And then exhale, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. We're looking through the legs and we're holding this down dog position as we breathe. And again, it's usually 5 deep breaths. So you're breathing deeply in and out through the nose, getting used to the weight in the hands and what that might feel like at this point. We'll take a couple more breaths here, breathing in and out through the nose. Good. Get ready to move again. On the inhale, let's look forward, walk, jump, or step up to the hands. Hands might raise back up onto your shins. Exhale, fold deeper. Inhale, come all the way back to standing. Again, if you need the support, please take it. And as we exhale, draw those hands down. Good. We're doing that 2 more times. Inhale, arms reach, chest rises. Exhale, take a long forward fold. Inhale, we're going to look forward again and re-lengthen that spine, create a neutral back. Exhale, hands come to the floor into a plank and lower down. Again, the knees can come down. I'm not going to do that this time. Inhale, move forward into up dog, chest expands. And exhale, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. So feet are comfortably hip distance apart. Arms are comfortably your shoulder distance apart. If you need to take a break at any time, feel free to sit back in the child pose or any other resting pose for you. We'll take a couple more breaths here again. Deeply in and out through the nose. On that next inhale, let's look forward. Walk, jump, or step back up to the hands. On an exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Inhale, lift all the way back up to standing. And exhale, bring those hands down. We're going one more time with our sun A. Inhale, arms reach, chest rises. Exhale, deep forward fold. Inhale, look forward, create that long spine, ready for the plank to come. As we exhale, hands to the floor, plank position, lower down. You can still lower the knees if you need to. Inhale to a back bend, could be still small, or right in up dog. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Holding our down dog again for 5 deep breaths. So deeply in and out through the nose. So we're inhaling, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling. Fingers are spread nice and wide. On the next inhale, let's look forward once again. Walk, jump, or step right up towards the hands again. As we exhale, fold that a little bit deeper. Inhale, make your way all the way back to standing. Knees can soften if you need. And exhale, let's take those hands down. Good. Let's set it up for triangle next. So your right leg can stay forward. Left leg steps back, just about one of your own legs distance on the floor. Hips are facing that edge of your mat. Let's level off the arms on an inhale. As we exhale, reach out over top of this leg. And once you've gone as far as you can go, just let that bottom arm come down and the top arm come up. Don't worry about reaching the floor, you don't have to. So if you're struggling with your balance, feel free to glance down. Looking side is kind of natural because the shoulders face that way. Or you can even turn the head to look up. Still breathing deeply. No discomfort of the knees. There can be a slight bend in the knee if you need it. We'll take one more breath on this side and then we'll reverse it. So on your next inhale, press into the feet, lift yourself back out, and let's just pivot the feet around. So your left foot is now towards the back edge of your mat. Right foot turned in a little bit, hips are squared. Level off the arms on the inhale. As we exhale, extend out like you're reaching for help. When you don't go any further, the bottom arm just drops down, the top arm can lift. So no discomfort of that shoulder. You don't have to get the arm straight up necessarily. And we breathe. Deeply in and out through the nose. Again, if you need to come out of any position sooner, please feel free to do so. We have one more breath here. On our next inhale, we'll press into the feet again, lift yourself back out, and step right back into the top of the mat. I'm going to turn and face you. Let's take an inhale here, and we're going to side bend. As we exhale, take it over towards the right side. So your hips can go over to the opposite side. If you feel more comfortable with the hips apart, feel free to do so. Shoulders are drawn down. You can let that arm come down if that helps you. And just think of lengthening the entire side of your body. So we're breathing into the rib cage, expanding that rib cage with every inhale, and that might allow us to go a little bit deeper on the exhale. So if the body wants to go deeper, let it. So we're almost there. You can glance up towards the palm, or you can still keep looking forward. Or of course, watching your computer or screen, whatever you're looking at. Let's come out of this side. On the inhale, let's lift ourselves all the way back out. And as we exhale, take it over to the other side. Hips will move slightly over to the side, as far as you're comfortable with. Arm can reach down, or you can still keep the arm lifted, as long as we're not shrugging those shoulders or causing any tension around the neck. And we're just breathing deeply and comfortably the whole time. It's always about the breath. So whenever you can, just remind yourself to keep breathing slowly and deeply. It calms the mind, it calms the body. Good. On our next inhale, we're going to lift ourselves all the way back out, and then exhale, bring those hands back down. Let's set up for our last standing pose before we do a standing balance, and we'll go to Warrior Two. So your right leg can stay forward, left leg steps a little bit further back than it did from triangle. So think of a nice long stride. You're bending the knee, but it doesn't go beyond that ankle. It stays right over top. Hips are level, arms will come up, and they're even. So we don't want to feel like we're leaning out. Try to keep those shoulders dropped down, and then we just gently turn the head to look beyond your middle finger. So if you can sink any deeper down as you're holding, feel free to. Doesn't mean we need to push ourselves any further. Just listen in where your body goes. This is as far as my body wants to go today. So again, respect what's right for you. We don't stop breathing. We're still breathing deeply. In and out through the nose the whole time. I'll always remind you of your breath. In fact, we just have one more breath on this side, and then we'll do the same thing on the second side. You can drop the arms down if it helps. Inhale, lift out. Pivot the feet around so you've got the other foot, the left foot to the back of the mat, and then that other foot turn in just a little bit. We're gonna sink those hips down, arms can level off, and then just gently turn the head without any stress on the neck. And we're breathing through it the whole time. So if you need a break for the shoulders, feel free to pause, but try to use that strength of pulling the shoulder blades in towards the spine or the midline to help hold those arms up. So we're just keeping this body position as best we can. Sink deeper if your body goes deeper. Don't worry about that knee. Make sure it stays right over that ankle, that is. We're not trying to get it too far forward or back. We just want to keep it in that position. So on our next inhale, let's lift ourselves back up and we'll step back into the top of the mat. Good, we're gonna do a fairly easy, I think, standing balance, but I'll leave that up to you. So I want you to stand on your right leg. We can lift the left leg up, and then from here, extend that leg a little bit out to the side and see what happens. Arms can reach out, so it's kind of 5-pointed star position. So really, you're just in this position, but you're on one leg. So the head should be neutral again to the shoulders, not to the room. So we're letting the head come off to the side, and we're breathing. And if you lose your balance a couple of times, that's okay. Just try to hold whatever position makes sense for you. If you need to readjust a couple of times, that's fine. We have one more breath on this side, and again, we'll duplicate everything on the other side. Good. Let's come right back to centered again. Just bring everything back in. Take one breath here. Let's use arms again. Inhale, arms will reach. And as we exhale, draw those hands down. Good. Pressing into the other foot now. We're going to lift our knee up. If this is all you want to do, that's okay. If you can start leaning out and extending those arms out, find the angle that's right for you and just hold. But again, we're never holding that breath, just holding the body position. So a little bit of balance. So I'm going to try to create strength, balance, flexibility, and of course working on our breath, trying to calm us down. Good, so just a little bit longer. Again, you might be a bit wobbly, that's okay. That's your body just kind of figuring out what's going on. If you haven't done it in a while, it might take a little bit of getting back to it. Good, let's come back again to our center position. Bring everything back in. Nice. Let's take another breath here, but then we're gonna work our way down to the mat. So inhaling, arms can reach, chest rises. As we exhale, draw those hands down. Good, let's make our way down like our Sun A. On an inhale, arms will reach. As we exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look forward again, re-lengthen that spine, create that straight back. As we exhale, hands to the floor. You can still lower the knees down, bend the elbows, lower down. Inhale to a back bend, up dog if you like. And then exhale, press back to our downward facing dog. Good, not holding as long, it's more of a transition. Let's go to a back bend next. So come forward on our inhale, and as we exhale, lower yourself all the way down. So let's point those toes, reach those arms back, and on the next inhale, lift up the head and shoulders without putting any folds in the back of the neck. If you can lift up the legs, feel free to do so. If you want to keep the arms lower, they can stay low. They can come up onto the thighs if you like, or even clasp and lift up a little bit higher. The eyes are looking up. You're actually glancing up towards the ceiling or towards your forehead. And we're breathing again as we hold this position. Not for long, so I know we don't do a lot of this, but it helps to complement all the forward folding that we do. So we want to make sure that we're staying as balanced, not just balancing on one foot, but balanced front to back, right to left, everything balanced in yoga. If you're still with me here, one more breath, and then as we exhale, release down. Take the hands gently underneath the shoulders. Before you move, just draw that belly in a little bit. As we exhale here, come up to an all fours position, hands and knees. On the next inhale, arch through that back yet again, looking up. And as we exhale, tuck the tailbone under, chin in towards the chest, pressing into those hands, activating the abdominals. So as I always like to say, my shirt might be hanging out, but my abdominals are not. So try to draw that belly in as much as you can. Good. We're going to go back to our downward dog, so come back to a neutral spine. Tuck those toes under once again, and on the next exhale, lift the hips up and back. We're making our way to seated, so on the next inhale, look forward, walk, jump, step through, whatever makes sense for you to come to a seated position. And we're gonna extend those legs out. So we're sitting squarely down on the sit bones. Sometimes it helps to just kind of get the flesh out of the way a little bit, and we're sitting firmly. If you can, the legs are fairly tight and strong with the heels reaching out. If you need to sit on something elevated, please feel free to do so. Your low back will indicate what you need to do, or you could have the knees slightly bent, or if you have a strap available, then do use that if you need it. So next we're gonna forward fold. On an inhale, arms can reach out. As we exhale, lengthen from folding at the hip. When you don't fold any further, you can flex the spine. And when you don't flex the spine any deeper, just allow your hands to come down. We can grab hold of those legs so that on the next inhale, you can lift up. And as we exhale, maybe pull yourself a little bit deeper down. So I'm still drawing that belly in, still trying to lift that pelvic floor a little bit. If the arms can go all the way down to touching the toes, feel free to go there, but we don't all have to go there. That's okay. Just take it to whatever level makes sense for you. Again, we're breathing comfortably the whole time. Good. We'll take one more breath in this position. So when you're ready on the next inhale, think of reaching away, lengthening the spine again, and as we exhale, let's bring those hands down. Good. We'll take a twist next. So we're going to take the leg, the right leg if you can, or whichever leg is closer to the front. Feel free to bend that leg in, keeping a fairly neutral spine. You don't have to bring that foot all the way in if it changes your low back too much. Feel free to cross the leg over or even cross the bottom leg underneath. So we're going to turn it against that leg. So with a nice long spine on an inhale, reach. And as we exhale, rotate in towards that leg. Now you can take your right arm, the same side as this leg, back behind you, and your elbow can come to the outside of that knee. Try to sit maybe a little bit taller without any shrug, and as we exhale, rotate. Looking as much as you can towards the back of that mat. So we're still trying to breathe. Inhaling and exhaling deeply in and out through the nose, so as much as we can, we keep that mouth shut. Foot stays flexed, that's gonna help protect that low back a little bit. Good, we're just here a little bit longer on this side. One more breath. Good, and then we'll take the next inhale to come back around to center, and as we exhale, bring those hands down. I'm gonna extend the legs back out. If you need to realign, realign. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on the second side, so I'm gonna turn a little bit away from you, but bending into that leg enough that you still have a tall posture, possibly crossing it over enough that you can keep that foot flat. On an inhale, we're gonna reach tall, and as we exhale, rotate. Hand comes behind to help open up that shoulder. Elbow goes to the outside of that knee to help use it for leverage, and we look away. We turn our head again away from the leg that is bent up, the one that we're twisting into, as we look back behind us. So if there's any discomfort, if you need to change your positioning, your alignment, feel free to make any adjustments that's right for you. I'm not using any props deliberately because not everyone has props available for them at home, so feel free to use a prop if you need it or if you have it available for you. One more breath here. And let's make our way back to our center position. We're going to inhale. And then as we exhale, allow those hands to come right back down. Good. From here, we'll extend those legs back out again. Let's take another seated forward fold. Inhale, arms will reach. And as we exhale, hinge from that hip, flex the spine, and again, reach to wherever you can. Now you may have found you've gone a little bit deeper in that forward fold. Sometimes that twist kind of helps to unlock what's going on through the hips and a little bit of the tightness in the low back, if there is any. So it's not always just about the hamstrings when we get into these forward folds. So just breathe into it comfortably. There's no pain in any of the joints. Make sure it feels right for you today. Because every day is a different day in yoga, isn't it? So again, this is what feels good for me today. I'm not going to force anything. Some days we go further, some days we don't, but that's all good. Good, we'll do a slight variation now. On an inhale, lift yourself back to sitting tall, and as we exhale, bring those hands down. We'll do almost the same thing, but in a wide leg position. We didn't do anything wide standing, so take it wide. If you want to have your feet still on your mat, you can turn yourself on your mat. So I'm extending those legs out, still sitting squarely down on the sits bones. If you're not as flexible, you can bend the knees, or again, sit on something elevated, whether it's a book that you might have handy or something other than a yoga block. Do whatever makes sense for you. Now, hands could also stay behind. So on an inhale, lengthen out the spine. As you exhale, you can hinge at that hip using the arms to assist you from behind. Or if you're comfortable with it, the arms could be forward. Once we've hinged at the hip, if it's available to you, flex the spine. You can reach out as far as you're comfortable with, or you can reach down towards those toes. So take it to whatever degree makes sense for you. So again, this is all about you. This is your yoga practice. So again, thank you for joining me today. We still keep breathing deeply, and you'll notice how the body yields after we hold a pose for a little bit. So if it is doing that, let it go deeper. If you feel something doesn't feel right, maybe ease off. We always have ways that we can make things easier or more challenging, depending. On our next inhale, we're going to lift ourselves all the way back up again. And as we exhale, let's bring those hands down. Nice. Now, I'm going to bend into those knees. We're going to bring the legs back in. And this time we're going to take it into a strength pose, seated to Navasana. They all require a little bit of strength and stretch. So from a sitting tall position here, we can open up at that hip and recline back. Chest is staying lifted so the low back can stay lifted. So we don't want to drop the chest down. Now notice I'm still holding on. You can let go as long as you're not trying to round or reach the arms forward. If you need the assistance, go there. If it's easy for you to lift a leg, feel free to lift a leg. If it's easy to lift two legs, feel free to go there. But you don't have to. So take it to whatever level makes sense for you. So I always choose, again, what's right for me. Today, I think this is as far as I'm going to go. So we're strengthening and breathing deeply just to support our spine in this tall leaning back position. For the most part, your eyes are just looking up, maybe towards where your ceiling meets your wall. You're just glancing up a little bit, rather than glancing down, which might put us in flexion at this point. One more breath. Are you still with me? Are those hip flexors feeling it? Because they may. Make sure it feels okay. And then we'll release out of here. Allow the legs now to fall open and the soles of the feet to come closer in together. So this is going to be our cobbler pose. So allow yourself to open up those hips as much as you can. I have fairly tight hips, so my knees are not going to go all the way down on the floor. If yours can, awesome. Again, if you need to sit on something, that's okay. So from this tall position, inhale, and as we exhale again, you can flex forward, fold forward. So we're getting into these hips a little bit. So sitting around, I don't know how much time you're spending sitting nowadays. We tend to, as a society, sit quite a bit. These hips tend to tighten up, unless you sit this way commonly during your day-to-day practice. But often we have very tight hips. So feel free to do things like this that might open up your hips a little bit more. Still breathing deeply. And again, never to the point of pain in any of the joints. We're always trying to release the muscles, and it goes with that breath. The more you can keep your face calm and relaxed, the more your body will actually respond and relax too. So we'll take one last breath in this position, and then we'll change it. Good. So we'll come up from here. And I'm just going to change my body position a little bit. I'm going to face the other way, just so that you can get a little bit of a different perspective of where I'm going to be coming from. We're going to roll ourselves back onto our back. And then from here, we're going to take it into a bridge position. So I'm bringing my heels close in towards my backside. Again, as close as you're comfortable with, staying about hip width apart. On the next inhale, lift your hips up. So if it's available to you, bring your hands underneath you so you can touch them together or possibly clasp. The shoulders roll under as much as your body allows. And again, we're lifting the hips up. So I know you may be trying to turn your head to look what's going on, but ideally we don't turn the head too much because the neck is in a flexed position. It is a bit vulnerable, but we're lifting. If you feel like you can lift a little bit higher as you inhale, feel free to go there. So one thing to maybe watch out for are those knees. We don't want the knees going too wide. So as you're coming up, there's just enough gentle contraction of the inner thighs to complement. And like any pose, if you find yourself able to go deeper after holding it for a bit, please feel free to do so. One more breath here, because again, we're almost done actually. And then gently release those hands out from underneath you, and then lower down. We can bring the knees in towards the chest. It's very similar to that child pose, but it's not the same as what you might feel in child pose, but that's okay. Any gentle rocking or rolling that you want to do at this point, feel free to do so. Now we're going to change this again to get a little bit into the hips at a different angle. I'm going to open the knees up, and I'm going to keep the knees as close to my shoulders as I can get them. Unbend the knees, so it's almost like you're trying to stand on the ceiling. And this is our happy baby pose. So if this is as far as you're able to go with it, that's okay. You can grab hold of the backs of the legs, you can grab hold of the ankles, or you can reach for the little toe side of your foot, and you can gently allow yourself to draw those knees down towards the floor. So you can gently even move around just a little bit with those legs to find a position to settle into, but we're not trying to move around too much. We just want to stay calm. So we're still going to breathe deeply in and out through the nose as we're holding this position. It's a different angle. We didn't do any deep lunging, so those of you that may have done a class with me before, we often do a lot of lunging motions on the floor, and I didn't include that today on purpose. We're trying to do maybe a little bit more of a gentle position for some of you that might be newer or first time joining me here. So am I pulling on my legs? Not necessarily. Just let gravity do most of the work. You can assist if the body wants to go a little deeper. You may feel this as an inner thigh stretch. You may feel this as a gluteal stretch. You may feel this as a low back stretch, and possibly even this deeper calf muscle soleus stretch if you're not used to the bend in the ankle. Good. So again, we're breathing deeply, breathing comfortably. Let's change our position again just slightly. So from here, we're going to take the legs and just extend them straight up. Now I'm not going to take it into shoulder stand. We're just going to work on working those legs up a little bit in this semi-reversed position. So you can put your legs up a wall, so that may be something you can do on your own afterwards if you want to try. Or you can bring something underneath the hips to elevate the hips a little bit higher. So you can stack the fists. Again, I don't have any props with me, so I'm not using a yoga block. I'm just extending the legs up. So we're getting a little bit of reversal of that blood flow from our feet towards our head. So getting a little bit more oxygen up towards the head, towards the brain, more blood flow. And again, we're here usually for about 5 breaths. I'm flexing my feet because we're flexed at the hip. So again, flexion assists flexion. And again, we're breathing the whole time. So one more breath here, and then we'll take it into a twist. So a very gentle twist on the body. We did a twist earlier. We did our twist when we were in our seated position, but we're going to take another twist. So I'm going to gently release, bending through the knees, and release to about a 90-degree bend in the knees here. Arms can open out towards the side. Now I'm going to go off in this direction. Usually I'll say go to the right. So take your knees over to one side. Now if you can't keep the knees together, placing something between the knees, a pillow or a block, might be a little bit easier for the low back, or underneath that bottom knee, or you bring the legs together. The shoulder stays down for the most part, and the head can look in the same direction. Now you can change the angle of the top leg to whatever makes sense for you. I'm going to keep it fairly simple, just keep the legs about 90 degrees. So we're holding this twist, and we're breathing through it. So just a couple more breaths. It's almost Shavasana prep, that's the way I like to refer to it. So think of relaxing the body, releasing just against the floor. This is not the time to force things. So in this nice short practice, we got some twisting, some back bending, some forward folding, side bending. So I try to complement getting the spine to move around in all those directions that we might not get all the time in our day-to-day activities. On the next inhale, just gently lift up. You can separate the legs if you need to, but come back to your center position. Let's go to the other side. On the exhale, think of allowing those hips to move off to the side. Low back feels good in this position again. Arm can extend out to whatever angle makes sense for you. So if I were to reposition just slightly my body, we're just in a twist. We're just twisting away. Shoulders are squared off. No discomfort of the shoulder joint. Gently looking down towards the arm. And we're breathing. So this is the last pose we'll do before I put you in a Shavasana. And I'm going to leave you in Shavasana for how long you want to stay there. So as always, we're still breathing deeply in and out through the nose. So when you're ready from here, on the next inhale, lift yourself back up to your centered position. I'm just going to realign on my mat. Any last little rocking or rolling that feels good to you, feel free to do. Otherwise, we release into Shavasana. The legs fall open naturally, the arms fall away from the body, the head is centered, and the eyes can be closed. So we're just letting the body relax and release against the floor. If you prefer any alternative position, feel free to be in any other position where you can just let the body go. So staying where you are. So at this point, just allow yourself to not breathe deeply and comfortably in the same way as you were before. Just let your body have its own natural breath. We don't need to think of anything. We don't need to do anything any longer. We're just letting the body go. So I'm going to leave you here in Shavasana for as long as you want to stay here. So thank you again for joining me, Robert Stiegel, with this yoga class that we're doing for the JCC. Again, I appreciate that you're joining us here today, and hopefully you and your family are making the most out of this time that we get to spend with one another. So thank you for joining me.